Hi, I'm Lake County Board Member Dick Barr, representing the 3rd District of Lake County, which includes Lindenhurst, Lake Villa, Round Lake Beach, and Round Lake Heights. Probably the number one question I receive from residents is whether or not they should appeal their property tax bills. So in this video, we're going to go a little bit into how the property tax bill is calculated and reasons you should or should not appeal your property taxes. So I hope you enjoy. So you want to know how to appeal your property taxes, or you want to know even if you should appeal your property taxes. Almost everyone I talk to complains that the property tax values are too high, and they're looking for ways to reduce them. So the number one question you might have is, should you appeal your property taxes, and will that do you any good? So it's important for you to understand how your tax bills are calculated before you can make the decision if doing an appeal is the proper way to go. So I want to bring up a example property tax bill, and in the bottom right hand corner there's a section that starts with a line that says full market value. That is the market value of your home as according to the local township assessor. I'm going to zoom in on that to give you a little bit better look. So in this example here, we've got a home that's worth, according to the assessor, $250,000. And then in the second box, about halfway in the middle of that list, is a list of your exemptions. These are the property tax exemptions that you may or may not apply for. Most homeowners who live in their home as their primary residence receive what's called a homeowner's tax exemption. That particular exemption is $6,000. Now that doesn't exempt you from paying $6,000 worth of taxes. It lowers the equalized assessed value of your home by $6,000 while performing the calculation. So number one, you want to make sure that you're receiving all the exemptions that you qualify for. But with regard to an appeal, the only thing you're appealing is the actual fair market value of your home, and making sure that the assessor has the correct specs for what your home has in it. Fireplaces, a basement, a finished basement. These are all things that add or detract from the value of your home, and this is the data and the information that the assessor uses to determine what your market value is. So when you do an appeal of property taxes, like I said, you're not appealing the property tax amount. You're only appealing the fair market value that goes into figuring out what your tax amount is. So I created a short video to show you how the formulas is used to figure out what tax you owe. And that's going to start right now. So the formula is you take your fair market value divided by 3 to equal your equalized assessed value. You take that minus your exceptions to equal your taxable valuation, and you take that value times the tax rate to figure out your tax owed. I'm going to do an example with a fair market value of $250,000, a single homestead exemption of $6,000, and a tax rate of 12%. We take the $250,000 divided by 3 to come to our total assessed value. We subtract our $6,000 to come out with our total value, and we times that number by the 12% to equal a total tax owed of $9,334. Now remember, we don't appeal the amount we owe. What we do is confirm we have homestead exemptions, and we confirm the fair market value is correct. Now, how do you know if the fair market value is correct? Obviously, it would be important to have a fair understanding of what your home is worth. If you don't know what your home is worth, you can use tools like Zillow, www.zillow.com, where you can go on there and for free get an estimated value of your home. Now, that won't be precise, it won't be exact, it won't necessarily know how nice your kitchen is, it won't know how nice your bathroom is, it won't know if you have a new roof or new siding, may not even know if you have a finished basement or a swimming pool. So it does a fair estimate of what your value is, and at least it's a starting point. You can also speak with your neighbors or call a real estate broker, or the absolute if you really have to know exactly what it's worth, you could also call a professional appraiser to give you a precise value of your home. I want to switch to a chart I created. This is how to determine if you really should appeal your taxes or not. Let's say in the example we used on the tax bill that the assessor says your home is worth $250,000. Well, if your home is actually worth $250,000, well, it doesn't make sense to appeal because the assessor has assessed your property at the precise value. Now, there are small factors that could make small changes. For instance, the Illinois state statute says that the value used for assessed value is a 3-year trailing average. So they take the prior 3 years on January 1st, what the value of your home is, and average them out. And that's how they present your value. Now, there's usually just a very minimal difference in those values, so there won't be drastic changes. So the advice I'm giving you is based on more of a broad example, and for more specific examples, you should either talk to a tax appeal attorney, or you could also talk to your local township assessor. But assuming the fair market value, as according to the assessor, matches how much your home is worth, there's no point in appealing because there won't be any reduction. If you look at the chart, what I have is everything going to the left is a lower value of your actual fair market value. So as you move further to the left, it goes from light green to dark green. That means your home is worth less than the assessor says it's worth. And if that's the case, you've got the green arrows, which means go ahead. You should appeal because the lower your home value is compared to the assessed value, the more likely you are to succeed at an appeal. However, the opposite is true as the home value goes up in relation to the assessed value according to the assessor. If you have a tax bill that says your assessed value, fair market value is $250,000, and your home is worth $300,000, probably not a good idea to do an appeal because the assessor might agree with you that an appeal is warranted. Unfortunately, the appeal will be in their benefit, not yours, because they can adjust the value to match what the fair market value is. So be careful when you do these appeals. If you've recently purchased a home and you bought the home for considerably less than the assessor is saying it's worth, it's always a good idea to give the assessor a call or stop into the local township assessor's office, explain the situation, bring a form from your closing that's called a P-tax, that's P-T-A-X, show him that it's a qualified sale and the value amount, and they might work with you to lower the assessed value for a period of time. One of the things that's going to be coming up in the next year or two is there's a process in Illinois called the quadrennial reassessment. And that's where every 4 years the assessors reassess every home in the county. The individual assessors assess every home in the township. And what they do is they, instead of incremental annual increases, they take a snapshot of what that home's value is on that 3-year trailing average that we talked about before. And they set the new assessed values based on current rates. And the following year, when those rates get input into the system, what happens is your new taxes will be based on a rate that may have changed drastically. There's situations in our township in Lake Villa, especially in condos and townhomes, where the current book values of homes in those townhomes and condos, they're relatively low compared to what the homes are selling for. Let's take an example of a townhome that's maybe valued at $135,000, but in reality it's worth $165,000. So there may be a significant adjustment up. So be very careful. You always want to look at that fair market value on your tax bill. Not saying you should go and try to increase your taxes voluntarily. But what you got to be careful for is when that quadrennial comes, and we are in a quadrennial year, which you'll see on next year's tax bills, you could see a large increase. So you want to make sure that what you're paying is approximately what you should be paying, whether it's high or low. And if you think you're going to be subjected to a significant increase, you might want to contact your mortgage holders and start adding more to the mortgage escrow account to account for any significant increases that come. That about covers it. I want to put my contact information up here. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. You could always hit my website, which is www.dickbarrlakecounty.com. That's www.dickbarrlakecounty.com. You could follow me on Twitter at dickbarrlcboard. That's dickbarrlcboard. But I'll be honest, I'm not great at Twitter. I don't use it very much, so there's won't be a lot of communication from me. The most active social communication I do is on Facebook, and you could reach me at Dick Barr Lake County. You could, of course, email me at dbarr@lakecountyil.gov. That's dbarr@lakecountyil.gov. And if you're interested in subscribing to my newsletter, which comes out every 2 or 3 weeks with a lot of important information regarding county services and alerts, you can text Lake Barr followed by your email address to 468-311. Again, you're going to text Lake Barr followed by your email address to 468-311. I hope this answered a lot of questions for you, and if it didn't, please feel free to reach out at any time. Thanks very much and have a good day.